President John Mahama has commissioned an 800-kilometer Eastern Corridor fiber optic broadband infrastructure project in Ho in the Volta region. The project, funded by the Danish government at a cost of 38 million euros, was undertaken by Alcatel-Lucent International of Denmark. The fiber network passes through over 20 districts, starting from Ho to Boko in the Upper East region.
President John Dramani Mahama has noted that the completion of the Eastern Corridor fiber optic broadband infrastructure project will help improve Ghana's GDP. He said that projects which will provide high-speed internet connectivity will improve economic activities in areas along the Eastern Corridor. He also said Ghana has seen a rapid increase in the use of ICT, making it one of the biggest broadbands in West Africa.
I wish to report that the Eastern Corridor fiber optic project has been completed. The overall optic fiber installation is over 800 kilometers. The fiber has also been extended to the University of Health and Allied Sciences. And this project will open up the Eastern Corridor to the information superhighway and offer not only teaching and learning opportunities, but also bring the digital economy closer to the people living in this area. And so today, the Eastern Corridor fiber optic is a reality, as I reported to Parliament. We have developments that are tangible and there are developments that are intangible. Developments that are tangible are those that we see brick and mortar, and we see iron rods and everything, and we can touch it and say, yes, development has come to our hometown or to our region. But there are developments that we cannot touch because that cable is buried 1.2 meters in the ground, and so we can't see it. And yet the effect and revolution that it will have on our lives is far more than any brick and mortar you can have. Because communications is driving the economy of the world today. And so if the government invests 38 million euro to open up an information and communication superhighway in an area, it is far more rewarding than any concrete iron rods or brick and mortar you can have.
The president has, however, assured the people of the Volta region that he will be coming back to commission several more projects which are at finishing stages. He added work on the Eastern Corridor Road project will be completed before the 2016 general elections. He also noted that government is working to resolve all issues relating to students' allowances.
The missing link is in the middle between the two. That is from the Pepesu to Abe. And I wish to say that we asked Rolida have finished the boat from the road. And so we asked Rolida to move their equipment to the middle portion and start work there immediately. I wish to assure you that the Eastern Corridor Road will be substantially complete before the D-Day in 2016. Coming back to for the commissioning of the new permanent campus of the University of Health and Allied Sciences. It is almost complete. We are now doing the road network, the road leading to the campus, and then doing the roads within the campus. And so as soon as that is completed, I will join you again and we will go and commission the campus for the University of Health.
The president, however, admonished contractors working on the first batch of the Community Day senior high schools to speed up work. The Eastern Corridor fiber optic broadband infrastructure project travels from Ho in the Volta region to Boku in the Upper West region.
Ghana has been ranked as one of the dirtiest countries in the world. Now, data from World Health Organization and UNICEF suggests Ghana is among the 5 worst performing countries in terms of water access, sanitation and hygiene. Fifi Komsen joins me in studio with much more on this particular report. Fifi, thanks for joining us. So, how does the WHO arrive at such a conclusion?
Okay, now we look at the methods. The methods used here talked about this, that the index assesses country performance in water access, water equity, sanitation access, and sanitation equity. Now, country data compiled by the WHO and UNICEF Joint Monitoring Program, that's JMP, were used to calculate rates of change for each of the components. Now let's look at the index in general. We look at El Salvador, which is leading, Niger, Egypt, Maldives. And these are the best performing countries. Now Ghana is at the bottom. We have 115th. We are the 115th position. That's among the bottom 5.
Wow. And is it because the country is just so dirty, or I'm still struggling to understand a few things. I don't know.
The few indicators were used, and as you rightly said, and I talked about the water access, water equity, sanitation access, and then sanitation equity. Let's look at these one after the other. Now, when it comes to water access, it says that country rates of change, that is progression or regression, % per year in access to water, were compared to the performance frontier. That's the best in class. That's the best country, the best performing country, to generate a country value for performance in improving water access. In this category, we see El Salvador again doing so well, Mali doing very well, Nepal, even Nigeria doing so well. But when it comes to Ghana, we are at the 130th position. That is also among the bottom 5. Now let's look at water equity. It says that country rates of change, progression or regression, percentage per year in equity of access to water were compared to the performance frontier, that is the best in class, to generate a country value for performance in improving water equity. For the 2015 index, we used the gap in rural and urban coverage as our indicator of equity. When we look at this category also, Belarus did very well. Sierra Leone did very well. Liberia did very well. Niger did very well. But Ghana, again, is at the bottom, and I'm trying to locate Ghana. We did 111th. We are the 111th.
So technically speaking, we failed in virtually everything.
In everything. I mean, when you look at the index, when you look at the compilation of all these figures, from water access to water equity, sanitation access, sanitation equity.
Let me try and break it. This is a world survey, obviously. And how many countries are we looking at here?
We are looking at 120, okay. So we have 117, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23.
123 countries
overall.
And Ghana is among the bottom 5.
Absolutely.
Now, I'm just trying to reconcile this with the fact that we have this National Sanitation Day thing going on, and we are always making so much noise about it. Why is it that we are not achieving so much even with that implementation? I mean, it's a nationwide thing we are doing.
I think the National Sanitation Day has just been implemented, and the expectation is that we'll be able to rid our streets of filth. It's just started. It's a process, maybe. Let's see how it pans out. Maybe going forward, we'll be able to deal with this whole situation when it comes to sanitation, when it comes to water access. Because in this case, we are comparing how people have access to water in the rural areas to how people have access to water in the urban dwellings. So let's see how things pan out going forward. So maybe there'll be some improvement. These are the 2015 figures, and as we know, the National Sanitation Program has just started. Maybe going forward,
we've done a little over 6 months already.
Yes, but it's something that definitely the minister may have to be responding to going forward. Because if we are having this kind of information about our country, then we must be very worried about it.
Indeed. But let me ask you something you can respond to. You are Ghanaian, obviously. Seeing such figures and hearing such things, I mean, how does that make you feel?
It's astonishing, it's astounding, it's worrying and disturbing. I think going forward, it means that as a Ghanaian, I should be very much careful when it comes to my surroundings. And it also means that Ghanaians have to be very particular about their environment. Make sure that they observe best hygiene practices when it comes to sanitation. And Ghanaians should be really part of this national sanitation exercise, because if our communities are dirty, if our streets are dirty, if the nooks and crannies are dirty, it's Ghanaians who make these places dirty. So we have to change our mindset. There should be a certain change of mindset, a positive mental attitude we should have, I think.
I see. Thank you very much, Fifi Kumsen, with that particular one. I'm really shocked by this, but it means you need to be a lot more careful when you're buying the watch next door. You never know, you can't be too sure. But time now for us to get you some more on business right after this.